It was only a couple of months ago when Iron Maiden announced the Future Past tour, which when I first heard about it, I thought I was dreaming because I saw it on my phone at like 5 o'clock in the morning. Because this tour is a dream come true for Iron Maiden fans, for fans of Somewhere in Time, for fans of people, because they didn't ever do a concert footage of the Somewhere on tour in 1986. They did one for everything else. We got Made in England. We got Iron Maiden loves doing these sort of album-centric tours where we got one for Power Slave in the Somewhere Back in Time World Tour. We got one for some Seventh Son of a Seventh Son for the Made in England Tour. We got one for the Paul Di'Anno era of Iron Maiden, which, to think about now seems kind of impossible. But we're getting one for Somewhere in Time because of the fact that the COVID-19 pandemic sort of changed their plans for Senjutsu. It was originally recorded in 2019 between legs of the Legacy of the Beast World Tour, and then they decided, hey, for the hell of it, let's throw on the first 3 songs from Senjutsu to the second leg of the Legacy of the Beast World Tour. I got to see that tour. You can check out my review of it here, wherever it is on YouTube. But I loved that tour. It basically showed off the best sides of Iron Maiden on tour, and you got to see Senjutsu for the first time. It was awesome. But now that we get to the Future Past tour, which is a amalgamation of Somewhere in Time and Senjutsu, plus some other tracks, we figured that we might as well just go through a set list, a dream set list for the tour. This is probably not going to be the same set list that they play. I got sort of close when I did this for the Legacy of the Beast tour, but that one was much easier because you already had something to work with in the set list and you just had to figure out how to put in the Senjutsu songs. This time around, I don't think that they're going to be playing the title track. I don't think that they're going to be playing some of the other tracks off of Senjutsu, but without further ado, let's get to the set list for the Future Past World Tour by me. Kicking it off, this is inspired by the Somewhere on Tour set list that they did, and you can't do Somewhere in Time without starting off with the tape, of course, of Dr. Doctor. Like every other Iron Maiden concert, you're going to get that, but that transitions into the Blade Runner theme. They did this in the 1986 tour for Caught Somewhere in Time, which is our first track, our opening track of Somewhere in Time and this set list. And you can't do much better than this to start off the concert. This might have been cool as an encore. I think I wrote an article for that #show.com about a dream set list where this might have been the set list, the encore opener. But as a set list opener, Caught Somewhere in Time is fantastic. It's a great album opener. You can also check it out in my review of Somewhere in Time that I did for Iron Maidenathon, the full album by album, track by track review series that I did. You can check out a playlist with all the Iron Maidenathon reviews there. But Caught Somewhere in Time translates very well to a live experience from the bootlegs that I've heard from the 1986 tour and the 1987 portion of the tour. It sounds fantastic. Iron Maiden is just, my favorite band ever, but Caught Somewhere in Time, one of the best opening tracks of all time here. So that transitions into track number 2, which is Stranger in a Strange Land. Adrian Smith has come out and said, yes, we want to play this track live. It might be a little faster than you think. That's why I think it translates pretty well here to this number 2 track, because Iron Maiden on all of their concert tours, they start off with a longer one that might be a longer, more peppier sort of song, but it's still pretty long. You got to transition and hammer home and with that second track that's usually the single from the album. And, Stranger in a Strange Land was the single from Somewhere in Time, so we'll get this. It's either this or Wasted Years, I think, for this slot, but I think Stranger in a Strange Land works. Plus, we haven't heard it since the Ed Hunter tour in 1999, I think it was. They played it for a couple of dates, and then Adrian Smith had to go deal with the death of his father. They played a couple shows with just Yannick and Dave Murray as guitarists, and then they came back. Adrian came back and they dropped it from the set list. Never to be seen again, but here you have it as our number 2 track. Number 3, I think they're going to do something similar to what they did with the Senjutsu tracks. We're going to get the writing on the wall here. This track was one of the highlights of the Legacy of the Beast second leg where they played these tracks, and the writing on the wall just fits in really well as this third track here. Everyone in the crowd was singing it. It seems like it would go over pretty well, and this track is just awesome. It highlights the Smith-Dickinson pairing of songwriting perfectly, where it's kind of this weird Iron Maiden track that sounds almost like a Western tune. But it is Iron Maiden. It does have the heavy metal vibes to it. And the writing on the wall Can't wait to hear this one again for people to scream along with to the lyrics. Hopefully they play it. Number 4, we get into the trio of the epic length tracks at the end of Senjutsu. They made sure to mention these tracks in the press release. I think they're going to play all 3 for this tour because they're going to just kick off some of the other songs from Senjutsu that you might think they would play. But this one fits off here. I think they're going to go in order as well. So you're going through the set list, you can guess where we're going to have tracks. But Death of the Celts feels very much like the sequel to The Klansman as a track. It's very reminiscent of that song. It's very epic in feel and tone. It's really long, but it's got enough of the tempo changes and everything to where people wouldn't get bored of it with certain tracks. I remember back on the Book of Souls World Tour, I was a little apprehensive that they were playing some of these longer, more complex songs like The Red and the Black. And then when you see them live, you understand, never mind, that's stupid of me to think. Iron Maiden is Iron Maiden for a reason. These tracks are great for a reason. And Death of the Celts fits in here pitch perfect. Number 5, after a really long song, you got to pick the audience back up. No matter how awesome the track is, you got to punch them right in the mouth and tell them, let's get going. And you can do that with the 5th track here with the Trooper. As soon as you see Bruce with the uniform on and the flag, and they always do it the same way, and it always gets the crowd, it always gets me, or they have whatever banner they'll have for Death of the Celts, and then it just sweeps past, and you get that awesome art of Eddie from the Trooper single, and you know what's going to happen, and everyone goes crazy. This song, no matter how many times you hear it live, it is amazing. I think even for the most hateful of Iron Maiden fans, they're going to go, oh, why are they playing Number of the Beast and Run to the Hills again? They will not complain about this song. And for those people that complain like that, imagine it's your first time seeing Iron Maiden. What do you want to see? You don't want to see Stranger in a Strange Land. You don't want to see Alexander the Great. You want to see them play Number of the Beast, Run to the Hills, Hallowed Be Thy Name, the classics, because you've never seen them play them live before. That's the stuff that gets you into Iron Maiden. So for people out there that think like that, you guys might want to change your thinking a little bit, or think like you were when you were the first becoming an Iron Maiden fan, and you'll be a lot happier that way. After the Trooper, we have track number 6. We have my favorite song off of Somewhere in Time, which is Heaven Can Wait. I saw this song. This is the only song off of Somewhere in Time that they've played live in God knows how long. They played it on the Somewhere Back in Time World Tour with, besides Wasted Years, of course, for tracks that they've played off of Somewhere in Time. But Heaven Can Wait is absolutely awesome. They bring the Iron Maiden fan club members on stage. Everybody's jumping up and down. Yannick is going crazy with his guitar. This track is amazing. This track it's what I wake up to in the morning. It's my ringtone on my phone alarm when I wake up. But Heaven Can Wait is utterly, just absolutely smash classic Iron Maiden song. For the people out there that are looking to play Deja Vu or stuff like that off of the album, maybe Sea of Madness. I could see Sea of Madness in this slot, but I think Heaven Can Wait works a lot better, especially with the more modern Iron Maiden sound. But we'll see when they do play the set list. But I hope they get Heaven Can Wait on there because it's an absolutely amazing song. After Heaven Can Wait, you have another one of the epic tracks from Senjutsu. You have the Parchment, which I know is a favorite of a lot of people. It was my least favorite of these 3 tracks, but of course that's like, picking a least favorite child or something like that, because the Parchment is epic. That's the word that describes it. It is epic. It is this epic tale of sweeping landscapes, desert dunes, and everything, this quest going on to get this parchment paper that they talk about in the track. And like I said with Death of the Celts, you'd think that a 13-minute song would really kind of be like, I don't know if I want to hear this whole thing live. Iron Maiden does it, and they do it better than anybody else. So the Parchment works really well and fits into this slot in the set list. After the Parchment, we have another speedy song to get the audience back in it, of course. I can hear it right now. I can hear the opening notes of this song. I can hear Wasted Years. I can hear Adrian Smith playing the guitar riff to open this song. And Wasted Years, they've played it as the show closer on the Book of Souls World Tour. They've played it in the middle of the set. They've played it as part of the encore. They've played it everywhere in the set list. And so I think it fits really well here after the Parchment, because like I said before with the Trooper, you need something to get the audience back. Even if the song is super awesome and long and great, you still need something to get them back up on their feet, back and pulsed and energized, and Wasted Years is a great way to do that. Plus, it's just an awesome ballad for everyone in the audience to scream out along with the song. So Wasted Years fits perfectly right here on the set list. Number 9, we have a track that they've only played live once. They played it on the opening night of the Somewhere On tour, and they haven't played it live since. I think they're going to bust out some songs like this on this tour, and The Loneliness of the Long Distance Runner fits in perfectly with those sort of epic tracks that they bring back from the dead almost, where they are usually Steve Harris tracks that he probably wants them to play. I think that this one is going to be The Loneliness of the Long Distance Runner. This song is begging to be played live. It's begging for the crowd to get along with it. It's begging for that section near the end, oh my gosh, where it's you know, depending on who you ask, I might have the opinion that Somewhere in Time is a concept album. Some other people might think that this is just about a marathon runner running. Who gives a crap what you think about it? Either way, you're probably right. But The Loneliness of the Long Distance Runner will translate so well to a modern Iron Maiden concert, and I cannot wait to hear them play it live if they do play it live. Number 10, they're probably going to play this song. It's one of the singles off of Senjutsu. It's going to be Stratego. This song is quick. It's speedy. It's like an Iron Maiden song. I said when it first came out that it sounded like something off of Power Slave. And if you're going to be playing all these long songs, you got to get the quick ones in there. This might be Wrathchild type song, something like that. Maybe Be Quick or Be Dead if we're really lucky. I don't think that's going to happen though. But these songs, it's the Senjutsu World Tour basically here, where they're taking Senjutsu World Tour and they're going to slam Somewhere in Time into it. So you're getting a lot of songs off of those two albums, and what better than Stratego? It's one of the singles from the album. It is just this awesome sort of quick, speedy song that they can get to. They can get the audience going again, and Stratego fits in perfectly in this slot. Number 11, it's not an Iron Maiden concert unless they play the Number of the Beast. I don't think they're going to go with like the weird kind of set list that they did with the tour that they did before the Final Frontier World Tour, where they played only stuff from the reunion era or Bruce's coming back up, basically, where they mixed in like Fear the Dark and a couple of other songs. I don't think they're going to do that with this, where they're going to only populate it with Senjutsu and Somewhere in Time songs with a little bit of a mix of everything else. I think it's going to be, 5 songs from Somewhere in Time, 5 or 6 songs, maybe 4 or 5 songs from Senjutsu, and then the rest are going to be classics that you love hearing, and maybe one sort of deep cut in there, because they do love to do that too, like they did with Flight of Icarus on the Legacy of the Beast World Tour. But I think it's going to be the Number of the Beast here, because you got to have some of those songs, some of those classic songs that get the audience there, the people that are going, because I know they said that they were going to do like a Senjutsu World Tour where they play the entire album. That's not happening this time around, but they said we might play in smaller venues. People said, the really hateful, stupid Iron Maiden fans out there that just completely disregard everything they've done in the past couple of albums said, I'm not going. Well, okay, cool, you're not going. This is going to be an arena tour still. They're not playing in gigantic venues like they were on the Legacy of the Beast World Tour. So you still got to get some of those songs in there that get the newer crowd, the first-time Iron Maiden fans going, and Number of the Beast really does that. And of course, it's Number of the Beast. Like, how can you not get excited when you hear them play Number of the Beast, when they play the track or the tape of the voiceover from the beginning of that song? Number 12, like I said with Number of the Beast, this section of an Iron Maiden set list is incredibly easy to guess, because they always do it in at least a similar order to this, where they go Number of the Beast songs, Fear the Dark, Iron Maiden. So number 12 on the set list is going to be Fear the Dark. Every time I see it on the set list, I kind of, Fear the Dark, I get why they play it, but like, maybe they can play something else. And then I hear them play Fear the Dark live, and I'm like, wow, that was amazing. Why don't they play? They should just play this every concert. They do, because Fear the Dark is awesome. Once again, it's one of those songs. It's like a trifold of a song that hits the people that are going to an Iron Maiden concert to go mosh. You might be stupid, but I guess you can go mosh to Fear the Dark. The people that want to hear the classics, the hits, you're going to hear it. And then there's the hateful people, and then the super fans like me that still want to hear this track because it's so awesome, but you have it fit in here, and it transitions very well into Iron Maiden, which is the 13th song. They always play Iron Maiden. They're always going to play Iron Maiden, even if they don't play any new songs, or if they're doing this weird set list style like they did with that previous tour where they only played reunion era stuff. They're going to play Iron Maiden. They're the band Iron Maiden, so live with it if you don't like it. But I love this track live. It's just always great. Up next, we have the encore. And so this was a very, very weird thing for me to do, where I was trying kind of wrestling with myself as to what they would play here, and thinking back on previous Iron Maiden set lists. For this slot on the set list, it is usually a song that has a tape before it. And by tape, I mean something like Moonchild, where they play the beginning of Moonchild and then they play Moonchild, or Aces High, where they play the Churchill speech and then play Aces High. So here, what better song off of Somewhere in Time that they could play something that has a tape that would make the super fans in the crowd go absolutely crazy? It's one that everybody's been asking for very long. It is Alexander the Great. I think that they're going to open the encore with Alexander the Great. They're going to play it. I think they're going to play it. I hope they play it because this track is just absolutely awesome. It's impossible to sing. It's going to be very difficult for Bruce Dickinson on a night-to-night basis to sing this track just because it's so just hard. It's a lot of them. It's a mouthful of a song, but I think they can do it, and I think that they're going to do it on this tour because people have been clamoring for it for God knows how long. They didn't play it on the 1986 tour. They haven't played it ever. This is the one track off of Somewhere in Time that everyone wants them to play, that is any sort of seasoned Iron Maiden fan. They want them to play Alexander the Great, and I think they will on this tour because they did this with Seventh Son of a Seventh Son, where they brought out Seventh Son of a Seventh, or the Maiden England tour, where they brought out Seventh Son. They did this on the Somewhere Back in Time World Tour, where they brought out Rime of the Ancient Mariner. They brought out some of these classic tracks that we haven't heard in a long time. They did it on the Legacy of the Beast Tour with Flight of Icarus. People were clamoring for Flight of Icarus for a long time. They're going to play Alexander the Great on this tour. I have a feeling. I think it's just in my heart. I feel that they're going to play it, and it'll be awesome. Number 15. I know when they did the Legacy of the Beast World Tour, the second leg, I was like everybody else looking on setlist.fm to get the set list so I could get a video out and all of that. But some joker made a fake set list where they played the entire thing and then they played this track at the end. For the people that really love Senjutsu, this is my favorite track on the album. This is my favorite modern Iron Maiden song from the reunion era up, and that is Hell on Earth. I believe that they will play Hell on Earth. I believe that they will play it in the encore in this slot because it just fits so well. And this song, I can feel it now. I can close my eyes and I can imagine myself in the pit at an Iron Maiden concert with them playing Hell on Earth. And if you haven't listened to Hell on Earth, go listen to it. It's a religious experience of a song. And you can listen to my thoughts more on it too on the Senjutsu review that I did for Iron Maiden-a-thon, or the preliminary review that I did also for Senjutsu. It is my favorite track off the album. It's still my favorite track off the album. I still get emotional listening to it. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna cry like a little baby when they play this song because it is that emotional, that poignant, that just. They wrote the song in like 2018 or 2019, and it just reflects where we've gone as a society and human beings in so long. And I think that Hell on Earth is going to get played. I think they're going to play it in the encore here. As for the last song, they haven't played this one as the encore in a long time. They've been sort of experimenting, but I think they're going to make a return to Running Free as the last song that they play, or Sanctuary. It's either going to be Running Free or Sanctuary. I don't think they're going to mess with anything and put Wasted Years here or something like that. I think it's going to be Running Free or Sanctuary, where they can have that sort of crowd interaction and the band can just kind of relax, because they've played some pretty tough songs as the show closers in recent memory. I don't think that they're going to play Run to the Hills again. They did that on the Legacy of the Beast tour. I think they're going to put that one back in the vault, and they've gotten to some of their more famous songs here. But Running Free is an utterly fantastic song to send the crowd home happy. It is great. I love this track, and I love it live. It's just so much. It's just way better than the studio version. Live with Bruce Dickinson, with the crowd interaction, with the way that they play, with the noodling that they do on the guitar and everything. The best live version of this is obviously from Live at Donington, where Adrian Smith made his return to the band for one song and then left again. But this was my favorite track that they played live when I've seen them previously. It is just an event of a track, and Running Free is great. So what do you think of this first set list pass that we've got through for the Future Past World Tour? Are there any tracks that you would want to see? I know there's some fans out there that would want to see Deja Vu off of Somewhere in Time or Sea of Madness. I think they're going to play 5 or 6 songs from both albums. So we'll have to see. Maybe we'll get Days of Future Past. That's a pretty quick, speedy song. I did have a second set list that I'm going to go through in less detail here, because this is titled the Complete Fantasy Set List. That won't happen at all, but we're going to start off with Caught Somewhere in Time. That's the first track, Wasted Years, Death of the Celts, Stratego, Rime of the Ancient Mariner, The Trooper, Heaven Can Wait, The Parchment, Ghost of the Navigator, because that's one of my favorite reunion era songs, Days of Future Past, Loneliness of the Long Distance Runner, Sea of Madness, Alexander the Great, Iron Maiden, and then for the encore, Stranger in a Strange Land, Hell on Earth, and they'll close out with Fear of the Dark. I think that would be a cool idea for them to close out with Fear of the Dark. But what do you think of both of these set lists? What do you think they're going to play? Do you think I'm completely wrong? Do you think I'm full of crap? I don't know. Tell me in the comments. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and for more Iron Maiden content, for more heavy metal content, I know I keep promising it, but we are going to start Judas Priest-a-thon very soon. We'll be going track by track, album by album for every Judas Priest album in a video, so you can look forward to that. And thank you for watching, and up the irons. And from me and Eddie to you, thanks for watching.